In this video, we're talking about the latest pickleball paddle from Thrive Pickleball, the Thrive Smoke, which is a power-focused paddle that has a lot working in its favor, but also a couple things that give me pause. Let's dive in. Starting with the basic stats of the Thrive Smoke, this is a 14.5mm elongated paddle that features a 5-layer face consisting of carbon fiber and fiberglass. The static weight on my paddle was 7.93, the swing weight was 119, and the twist weight was 6.13. The core features 10mm cells for extra power, which they call their macro charge performance core. The handle length is 5.6 inches, the circumference is 4.125 inches, and it's priced at $220, but you can get that down below $200 by using the code PICKLEBALLBLAST at checkout. Alright, with those out of the way, we'll be taking a different approach in this review, talking about the things that I love as well as the things that I didn't love to help you make your decision. So let me know if you enjoy this new format. The very first thing that stood out to me with the Thrive Smoke was the ordering process, where they actually allow the customer to have a say in the swing weight of the paddle, which is pretty cool. The swing weight, of course, affects how fast this paddle may feel in your hands, and people definitely have preferences here. So allowing the customer to really dial in the paddle that they are buying and the paddle that they want is a nice touch. Another feature I loved about this paddle was the longer handle and overall balance of the paddle. I am known to hold my paddles very high up on the handle to an extent that I am losing some power and maneuverability. But there's something with the balance point and the slightly longer handle of the Thrive Smoke that just works for me. And I naturally pick up the paddle and I hold it much lower, giving me more whip in my forehands and more mobility at the net with my backhands. I also really enjoyed the power and pop I got with the Smoke. It all felt very controllable to me, but when you needed power or pop at the net, this thing definitely delivered. Though it's important to note that while it is solid power, it's not the absolute top end of power. And they took an interesting approach by offering this in a 14.5mm core thickness, which is between the two most common measurements, in my opinion, of 14 and 16. This gives it more pop with the thinner core, but still retains a little more plow through and stability than a 14mm core. And it also adds to that power with the larger macro charged core cells at 10mm. All of this combined with the elongated shape made me particularly enjoy this paddle for singles, though it was plenty great for doubles as well. And lastly, the surface of this paddle is very gritty. And while the feel of the paddle isn't incredibly stiff, I do think the slight lack of ball pocketing with the thinner core is somewhat made up for by the grittiness of the surface, which provides excellent spin. And while there was plenty that I loved about this paddle, there are a couple things that stood out to me on the negative side that I think are at least worth mentioning if you're considering purchasing this paddle. The first is that while this paddle did feel generally stable, the sweet spot is average, if not slightly on the smaller side, which in itself is not a big issue. But I personally felt like the fall off around the sweet spot as you work your way out to the edges was very abrupt, with balls that hit there coming off the paddle quite dead. I noticed this particularly in resets and occasionally in hand battles, which makes sense as those are usually the times when I have the least amount of time to prepare for a shot and I'm the most likely to miss the sweet spot. Second is the price point. After using my code, this paddle comes down to just under $200, and I'm not saying that it's not worth that, as I did enjoy my time playing with this paddle. I actually have played with it longer than a lot of paddles I review, and I keep reaching for it on occasion, even still to this day. But that price point is kinda in this weird no man's land. It is definitely cheaper than the Selkirks and Yolos of the world, and even cheaper than the Paddle Techs, which I think they set out to compare to in some ways. But at the $200 price point, they find themselves above a lot of other brands that I can think of. I think if they'd been able to release this at, say, $165 after a code, it would make it a lot easier to recommend, as it would find itself in the general range of a lot of other paddles, and you could focus only on the merit of the paddle itself. So as an overview, I did definitely enjoy my time playing with the Thrive Smoke, particularly for singles, and it's a paddle that for the time being will definitely remain in my bag as it fits well with my game and feels really good in my hands. And if you're somebody who likes to play with power, enjoys an elongated shape, and prefers a longer handle, then this could definitely be a great fit for your game. If you need a huge sweet spot, this will beat some other paddles like the Paddle Tech in my opinion, which I think was probably part of their goal, but it will definitely be smaller than many other paddles on the market. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate everybody following along on these reviews. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video.